Hello everyone and welcome to Power Playground. This is a room tour. Basically, this is the new place I've moved into. A lot smaller than the old setup, but a heck of a lot cheaper. So just kind of showing you around. We have our workbench, a little dark. Have one of the new 3D printers on the healing bench. I'm actually going to be making some iterative changes. I'm going to be swapping out to the Titan Aero, and I'm going to be installing a BL Touch 3D Touch clone thing for auto bed leveling. So definitely needed for these printers because they do tend to get off level a bit easier than they should. So I'm hoping to automate that process just to save myself some time. So of course I have my computer set up. I just got this relatively recently, this LG ultra wide monitor. Just loving it so far. Today, a big thing about today's video is I'm going to do some upgrades to my computer rig here. So my PC has been running pretty good lately. The only issue I've been having was that I realized a lot of my fans weren't working. Now, first off, I thought they were just dead because a lot of them were cheap and some of them, were 4 or 5 years old. But this case, I'm gonna bump up the ISO. Sorry for the grain. It has like a switch fan controller. Very hard to notice, and I've disconnected this so it's not connected to anything right now. And when I went to replace my fans, which I got a bunch of Noctua fans, I noticed that this connector for the fan controller, this harness, this end was disconnected from the switch mechanism. So yeah, it wasn't doing anything at all. It wasn't powering any of the case fans. So I went ahead and connected everything to the motherboard when I got my Noctua fans, because I figured might as well swap them out, get more of a silent airflow, which so far so good. It seems to be proving pretty well. But I still have my 212 Evo heatsink, which my CPU, when I did like a Prime 95 throttle, it was pretty warm. Got up to like 80 degrees or so, and it was ramping up a bit with the fan, so I definitely want to upgrade to this Noctua fan. Of course, get my new power supply in. Of course, this will definitely save or help me on cable management. I'm gonna go ahead and get my computer shut off, and I'm going to put it up on this desk here because that's really all the room I have right now. I'm gonna start taking it apart and slap these two bad boys in. But before we do that, I just want to show you all the brand new 3D printer enclosure we have here. So I basically built this out of a closet. Let's bump up the ISO a bit. There we go. It has all the filament storage down there, 2 levels. I think I have a total of like 5 printers. I don't have a middle shelf in here, so I could do 6 at some point. But right now I'm just running 3, and I have a couple up here, and then of course that one on the healing bench. Also need to grab a razor blade. I use these to apply the heatsink paste for the heatsink, so definitely need one of these bad boys. And let's go ahead and get rolling with this PC upgrade. Whew. Whew. That's a heavy SOB there. Yeah, I think this case weighs about 35 pounds with sound deadening in it, just alone. Not to mention all the other heavy stuff, all the hard drives and whatnot I have in here. So, of course, going to be cutting out all of the power supply cabling. I have my heatsink backplating, which we'll be removing here shortly to put in the Noctua one. Now we need to flip it to the other side, because I really don't have anything to do here right now until we get to the heatsink bit. Only thing that sucks about this case is these thumb screws are so tight. Of course, this is by no means a comprehensive how to build a PC video. There's already like thousands of those videos that are available online, so I'm just showing you all what I'm doing to my system today. You can go watch the Verge's video if you want to get a comprehensive guide. Actually, I don't even think they have their video up anymore. Probably not a good idea anyway. Woo! So this is the 2112 Evo. I installed this Noctua fan about a month ago. It actually was pretty quiet as is, but as you can see on our chunk scale, we have a fine boy, and then oh Lord, coming. Disconnect our GPU connectors, our CPU and motherboard. So yeah, this is the GX 750 watt. It's actually been a solid power supply, but like I said, it's got that bulging cap, so it's gotta go. Let's see here. So I just gotta remove the power supply and then yank all the cables. Hopefully I don't have anything left to unzip tie. Yeah, I would highly recommend Fractal Design as my this is my case brand of choice. Phanteks is pretty good. Like my roommate assembled a Phanteks case for his stepdad, and that was a pretty solid case there. Not as high quality as the Fractal Designs, but I believe it's a little bit more economical, and everything's laid out pretty well. But the thing I do love about Fractal Design is their windowless cases are usually sound deadened, and of course they do come with a nice bit of filters. Now, some other specs of this system is I have 32 gigs of DDR3. Yes, it's still DDR3 because it is a 4790K i7 Devil's Canyon. It's a really good processor. I've compared it to a lot of the newer ones. Yes, the newer ones perform better, but for the price of, I already have it, compared to whatever $300-400 for a 6800K or whatever, there's not a whole lot of real gain with it for what I do, because I just do video editing and some CAD work, and it's very minor, like 3D rendering. I'm surprised I haven't gone ahead. Actually, I might have already chopped some of these cables off, but there's still like so many left. Oh my god, it's crazy. I'm gonna put this grommet back. Try to. Honestly, the last time I opened this thing up, I didn't even clean it out all that much. I didn't even blow any air through it because I didn't have a can of air. I still don't have a can of air, so it's not too bad. These filters really do a good job. So I've got all my cables pre-installed. Yell at me if you will. I figured that was the best way to do it. So I think that's, oh, actually, sorry, I want to flip that around like the other one. Now, for those wondering, hey, when are you going to do more 3D printing videos? Very soon. I'm going to be doing a video on the new 3D printer that I have. Well, not so much new anymore. It's over a year old at this point. But it's my design, my custom design. Probably going to be making that open source here soon for everyone to tinker on. It's based off of Tech2C's, what is the name of that design? I just know the guy's name. His Core XY printer design that I cannot think of the name of right now. I'll put it up on the screen. So yep, I plugged in a couple of SATA leads because I do have 6 SATA drives right now. I will be lowering that once I get, probably getting to like 2 terabyte or something for storage at some point. So again, with the specs, it's got this EVGA GeForce GTX 970. It's the super clocked edition. It's been a pretty good card, even with ultra wide. I don't really play a lot of like the newer games. I was thinking about getting like a 2070, but or like a 2060, but I don't know. I'm gonna get this bad boy routed. I'll do the backplane routing when we flip around to there. Okay, got our CPU lead, which we only need 4 of the 8 pins. Gotta disconnect this somehow. Oh, it's like a little. Let me get some little peel nose. There we go. Tight space. Trying not to skin myself on the 2112 Evo. Okay, not bad. This is our video GPU hookup, which I'll probably just kind of route around in this cable routing channel. There we go. Trying not to knock. Not a huge fan of this bottom grommet, but it works, I guess. I'm just gonna lazily slink it around here. Do this number. Yeah, it should be fine. Yeah. Kind of bend that downward so it doesn't smack against the case. And I just got my 2 SATA. Man, this looks a lot better. I'll tell you that much. Yep, as you can see, expert mounting of the solid state drive. If I can't find a proper place to mount them, 9 times out of 10 I'll just leave them dangling in the case. It seems to work. Got my zip ties that came with my power supply. Man, this looks a lot better than it did before. Okay, I'll just kind of smush that back whenever we're ready to rock. No big deal. Okay, yeah, that should be good. Looks pretty decent back here. Now we're ready to flip around, install the 24 pin, get the heatsink swapped out. Should be hopefully not too much of an ordeal. She's a bit of a tight fit on this 24 pin. Alright, there we go. So yep, we went through this Medusa of cables to this finely organized boy over here. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now, let's remove this puppy. Ooh. Sit rep, you good. This graphics card sure just sagged a little bit. Oops. Don't mind that. This just fell on the edge of the PCB. So we're going from 4 smaller heat pipes to big bad Mamma Jamma. Good lord, I mean, the size comparison of these two, it's like 2 times the heat sink pretty much. Let's see, like a 10 maybe? Maybe a 9? I don't know, the 10 seems to be our best bet, I guess. Also, this Wera tool, the most useful tool. There's one of my favorite tools is this guy here, this little tiny ratchet that just accepts these like 1/4 inch hex bits. Set all this aside with my old heatsink. Alright, back plate is removed. Alright, so got the old heatsink removed. I'm going to go ahead and wipe everything up with alcohol real quick. Just going to wipe off the old heatsink paste first with this shop towel. Fold it in so I don't touch into the bare PCB. So yeah, this is a MSI Z97 M-G43, so of course has the Z97 chipset. Another thing I do want to try out to hopefully extend the life of my Devil's Canyon 4790K is to give a bit of an overclock. With the Cooler Master Hyper 2112 Evo, there was no chance in doing that, because as soon as I would bump up the clock anywhere above the stock 4.2 or 4.5, I forgot the turbo, it would just instantly overheat and throttle back down. So there was no chance I was going to do that. So with this, should be a different story, considering that it's twice the heatsink and twice the fan. So we shall see how well this performs. But I'm just going to finish up here. I have some like special solution for just cleaning up heat sinks, but don't know where that is at the moment. So isopropyl will do. 70% I'm using. Don't need anything too fancy. Arctic, yeah, I think it's like Arctic Clean is the stuff I had back in the day. There we go, just getting off the residual. Just gonna use Noctua's heat paste for this because I don't know where my Arctic Silver is. Somewhere around here. I don't know if y'all can see that, but that's a pretty good shine job there. You can see some machining marks, but overall a pretty good, decent finish. Looks like I need to remove this fan before installing because of these 2 contacts, which I'm going to remove the other one too, just because I don't know if it's going to interfere with the memory or whatnot. I don't like the Zalman heat sinks of yesteryear. It doesn't want to slice all of your skin off. Everything about Noctua's products super quality. Like this is like thick instructions, color and everything. So looks like we've got our back plate to install. There's our heatsink paste, which we'll install once we get the back plate finished. There we go. And you got your hardware. Neat. They even give you like, man, the tool they include. Look at that. That is like, that's pretty nice. I wish I had like an Allen wrench on the other end. That'd be cool, but otherwise, still a decent tool, and it's like, I like the profile of it. So it looks like this side goes up top with 2, since there's 2 screws there. Yeah, I was thinking about either getting the Be Quiet, like Dark Rock 4, I think is the name of it, or it was between that or this. I think the Be Quiet one's a little quieter, as the name implies, but it's not as good of a performer. And since I think it was a recent Linus Tech Tips video, they did a shoot up between this and a few of the Corsair water coolers. And this like beat all the water coolers, even the triple rad and the double rad ones. So yeah, it should be a pretty venerable heatsink setup we're dealing with here. Yeah, I'm really impressed with this Noctua setup. I'm able to do it without facing the case down or finagling it in a weird position. Now I have to find my razor blade, which I had. Oh, there we go. Neato. So, good trick with this stuff. I'm going to try to do this sideways, which shouldn't be too big of an issue. So with the heatsink paste, You can do like your little bead. I don't really feel comfortable with just this. That's quite a bit, probably way too much. We shall see. Now, like people are like, "Ah, it's way too much." Well, that's why you use a razor blade, because you can just evenly apply it. You get a nice flat surface, like pretty easy there, and it's going to be like it's not going to leave behind any residue because it's just metal on metal. As long as you don't scratch into the IHS block, you'll be good to go. And not a huge deal if you miss a bit on the sides, because all the action's happening right in the central area typically. It looks like it was a bit much, so I'm just going to scrape off the bit on the end there. Alright, chuck that razor blade in the bin, and now we're ready to install the big chungus. Okay, sit reps. So I went ahead and got the top. There's like basically a little bit of sound deadening fan top port cover up here that I took off, and so I could get more airflow from the heatsink, since I have to just do it in the vertical position now because the GPU is way too close. Thank you, Micro ATX board. Alright, so after some finagling, needed to really get some downward pressure on these two spring-loaded screws in order to get them to catch, just because the springs are pretty powerful. But this is probably the most solid heatsink setup. Like, there's no base wobble at all when you go to tension it with your hands there. So pretty solid assembly, if I must say so myself. Now, since we do have the orientation flipped, I am going to need to flip these brackets, because I want one to be mounted to this one and the other one to be mounted to this one. I'm not going to mount a fan up here just because I already have these two fans set up, and they will exhaust pretty easily out of this this passive port. So just gotta take these little hangers out and flip them onto the other side. So they just go like this, and then they kind of tag along underneath these little reverberation or dampener things. And then we put them on the other side. So now we have them properly faced and fixed. Snug as we can get it up to where they don't contact the memory. You just pull this tab back all the words. There we go. Looks pretty good. Then I have it connected to this Y adapter, which I'll be connecting to the other fan here soon. So of course I need to flip this little guy upside down here. Now, for those of you wondering, what you usually want to do when you build an air-cooled setup for your PC case is you want your front to be intake and your back and top to be exhaust, and usually the bottom to be intake as well. Obviously, with the whole heat rises law of thermodynamics, that's what you want to be going for. Otherwise, you'll be battling just simple laws of thermodynamics. I think we're knocking into our VRMs now. Oh, there we go. So that's like our max tolerance there. That looks good. And not too sure what I feel about this cable, but it seems to be okay. Like I said, this case will be closed, so it's not a huge deal if a random cable's hanging out. Kind of makes it look like some spaceship thing. The cool thing about this setup is that it'll be sucking up the rear side of the GPU. So of course GPU will be spitting air out the back as well as sucking air from the bottom. And then of course this heatsink will be taking any radiant heat from the back plane and sucking it out to the top of the case. So, and then of course this fan will take care of any other ambient stuff with the VRMs or what have you that anything else doesn't take care of. So that should be pretty decent there. So yeah, now I have 5 fans in this case, or 6 including the power supply. So I'm gonna go ahead and button this up. We'll hopefully everything works. Alright folks, so got the CPU fan installed here. Probably going to do a couple more modifications to this case. One, I want to reduce the sag on my GPU. Right now my 970 is like sagging on the back a bit, which I'm going to probably 3D print some sort of bracket for that, design that at some point. The other thing I want to do is, I'm not a huge fan of this just being exposed. I kind of want to create like a cowl just to like point the air back. Something not too restrictive, mind, but just enough to where I don't, if I spill something, I don't have on this for any reason. I usually don't have any cups on this side or anything like that, but do have one right now. But yeah, case in point, I want to create some sort of protective cowl just to keep any sort of drink spillage from ruining my computer. That would suck real bad because I've got quite a bit invested into it. Right now, I'm trying to push towards 5 gigahertz. And my temps, I don't know, I had to lower the voltage a little bit. I'm kind of trying to find that sweet spot of like a good voltage where I'm not throttling the CPU temperatures. Because it does, previously I did have to back it down a little bit and they're shooting up towards 100 Celsius and starting to throttle a bit. But I think I might have in the bag, hopefully. Just kind of tweaking. Overclocking is just one of those things where you just have to keep tweaking until you find the right balance, because right now as it sits, the everything seems to be good, but 24 hours of stability testing will prove the point to see if I'm actually going to be able to get this overclock to be stable. Now, I'm not going to be hurt if I can't get 5 gigahertz, but that is my goal here at least, and just trying to figure this stuff out because it's been a little bit since I have overclocked. But I digress. Video's definitely dragging on quite a bit, and I just want to thank you all for watching. More 3D printing and all sorts of crazy technology videos to come in the near future. I just want to thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Subscribe and all that good mess, and see y'all later.